Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you who are new, my name is John. And if you've been following my channel, you would know that I primarily am a long-term investor invested in companies that are essentially beat up or value-based, or companies that are growing that I think I can buy at reasonable prices. And I've said a couple times this year, my goal for 2021 is to help teach people how to fish and not just provide fish for them. And I think I have a pretty good track record. If you even went back and looked at 2020 and all the stocks that I mentioned and just bought them on that date that I made the YouTube video and held them until today, you'd be up about 70% on each average position. So that's not too bad. Today, I'm going to make a video about a tool that I use to kind of help with my research to find stocks to begin this process of looking for companies. And this newsletter that I found is essentially called Kuppy's Event Driven Monitor, KEDM. And this newsletter is created by a man named Kuppy, who runs a fund which is primarily only for accredited investors. And he also has a blog called Adventures in Capitalism. So he's pretty active on social media under Twitter, and you can hear him tweet about stuff all the time. But this newsletter, just to be clear, I'm not being compensated in any way for talking about this newsletter. I get no affiliate commissions. Kuppy has no idea I'm even making this video, but I think it's a great tool and it's free for now. I think there are some plans at some point in time to charge for this product, but for now it's free. So you really have no reason to at least sign up and see what this newsletter is all about. And I just want to kind of walk you through a snippet of the newsletter I got this weekend. And this newsletter comes out once a week. I spend about 20 to 30 minutes just scrolling through a couple sections just to see if there's anything that interests me that I can start my research on. So this is the report I get every single week, and this is the one I got yesterday, and it's 77 pages, but the whole point of this newsletter is not to be intimidating, but to be helpful. So it kind of starts off with a table of contents for all the different sections that this newsletter offers. And I usually start off by reading kind of the cliff notes, just to kind of see the different thoughts that Kuppy has from the last week. So if you're just lazy and you want to kind of see what's new, just read the cliff note in the front. And I don't want to go through every single section of this newsletter because that would take too long, but let me just talk about a couple sections I really like. One is Kuppy's Fallen Angels, companies that are down more than 65% over the last 2 years, which are on his watch list. So there's just a list of companies here you can kind of look at. There's Kuppy's Left for Dead, which is a scrub list of value stocks that he thinks has been forgotten by the market. There's a section of cluster insider buying, small caps less than 2.5 billion with multiple insiders buying. And a lot of people think that when a company or management team is buying stocks or their own stock, that's usually a bullish sign for stocks. Here's a section, Short Squeeze Monitor, which is the highest short interest as a percentage of float. So as you guys know, I've been talking about GameStop, where I got a position in that. You can still see that GameStop is still the #1 most shorted stock in the whole entire stock market. So you can kind of go through this list and look for companies that potentially might have a short squeeze potential. Again, some of these companies are heavily shorted for various reasons, like AMC, which the company could legitimately go bankrupt. But there are other companies that are heavily shorted that if there's a positive catalyst or a company buyback, these companies can definitely short squeeze up. So this is a list of all the companies that have short squeeze potential. Here's a list of all the recent CEO changes. And some people think, companies like Microsoft that were stuck for 10 years under Steve Ballmer and never moved anywhere. The new CEO came in and the company took off. So we can see on this list, Intel had a new CEO this week because, as you know, Intel stock has been lagging AMD in just the last couple years. So that could be a potential catalyst for a company like Intel. And here's a list of all the announced SPACs, right? So I know people really like SPACs in 2020 and 2021. So here's a list of companies that are SPACs that have announced a business combination, but the deal hasn't closed yet. So you can go and there's a link to the actual presentation. There's the current price. So you can look for companies that are trading close to $10 that haven't moved. You can see that, one of the companies I really like, MCAP, right there, it's trading at $11.40, and it's on this list as well. The next section I want to talk about is completed SPACs. So these are a whole list of companies that have combined and merged with the acquired company, and it shows kind of the performance of these companies after the merger. Newsletter short campaigns. We see a lot of these reports like Hindenburg on Nikola, we've seen Fuzzy Panda on Workhorse. And this list here talks about all the different research firms and the companies that they're currently short and how they've been performing according to the date the newsletter come out. So the items in orange are the ones where the stocks have actually gone up since the newsletter. So they're ones to watch out for if you think there's a bear case on some of these companies. There's an activist campaign where there's companies, PE firms, venture capitalist companies that are trying to buy companies or buy shares of the company and trying to get the management to change the way they do business. So this is the opposite, right? So with activists, you expect the stocks to go up. So the ones where they're down, they're flagged in orange for you to kind of use that as a starting point to look for stocks. There's a section on splits and reverse splits if you're into trading stocks under that scenario. So there's just a lot of different sections in this report. I don't want to go through all of it, but it's really a great place to start your research by just spending 20-30 minutes kind of scanning through these couple sections. And then that provides a list of companies that primarily are in the value realm that you can go and begin to research. So again, I'm not being paid. It's not a sponsored video, but it's a great tool that I've been using. Go sign up at KEDM.com, and then I'll see you guys in the next video.